So when we come to the corner, after we've done our last row of crossed stitches, we're going to work around the corner with a shell, and then we're going to work down into the stitches on this edge here. So this is basically they're crossed stitches and also trebles, just basically giving you a nice edge, and it really does kind of give it a really unique finish. I think it looks really nice, so hopefully you'll like that too. So I'm going to show you exactly where to place your stitches, just going around the corner, because once you've got around the corner and you do your first few, it's the same all the way to the end until you get to the narrow end of your shawl, where if you're putting a tassel in like I did, then you'll still have your magic ring open, and you can see that I've worked to the last few stitches here, sorry, the last few rows. So the last 2 rows, which are the first 2 rows that you created, I've put in half treble crochets in there instead, otherwise it just suddenly went from a high stitch down to nothing and it looked a bit odd. So I just graduated that down with plain half treble crochets. So I'll show you that now. So to talk you through going around that corner, in the last stitch of the last row, which is our double crochet stitch here, we're going to place 3 trebles, a chain 1 and 3 trebles, and that will turn you 90 degrees. 90 degrees is from there to there. And then we're going to be working, so we're not going to work anything into this double crochet row here, but we're going to work 2 cross trebles into this end treble here. Then we're going to work a single treble into the end of the double crochet row, cross trebles into the end of the crossed trebles row, single treble into there, and so on and so on. I'll show you that now, and that will hopefully make sense. So this is our last stitch of this row, our last row, and we're going to put in the corner. So that's 3 trebles, you can see I've already turned pretty much because I'm at the end now. Chain 1 and 3 trebles. So it's 3 trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles. Remember, I'm working in UK terms here. So we ignore, oh my God, that I couldn't make that happen if I tried, could I? Look at that, there we go, it's lost. Nothing into here, we just skip this and we're going straight to the edge stitch of the crossed trebles row and putting in 2 cross trebles. Now I'm still crossing behind on mine here because that's the way I've done them, but if you find it easier to cross in front on this row because they're a bit loose, those stitches to work into, then just do that. It won't make any difference. If you're a stickler like me, then do it the other way. So I've just done 2 cross trebles in the end of that row, 1 treble in the end of that row, and now I'm doing 2 cross trebles again, crossing behind, and 1 treble into the end of that double crochet row. So continue working these crossed stitches all the way along this straight edge until you are 4 stitches away from the magic ring. So after having completed your crossed stitches and trebles down the straight edge, the next point, which I will show you how to do, is turning this corner here. Now we're going to be working into the magic ring. So you need to make sure that your magic ring is slightly open. I'll just open mine a little bit more because as I've been working it's got a little bit more caught up. You also need to make sure that you work this tail in as you work double crochet stitches into that ring. Now you don't need to do this if you're not going to have a tassel, but if you're going to put a tassel in at the end here, then you will need to do this step. If you're not going to put a tassel in, I would just work one double crochet in here and then close that ring. We're going to work the last few stitches into the end of these last 4 rows. So you have 1, 2, the double crochet row and the crossed row. So that's 4 rows. To begin, just work one set of crossed trebles into the end of this stitch. Work a half treble into the end of that double crochet row. Then into the next end row, work 2 half trebles. And also work 2 half trebles into the end of the last row. Now, as we work around this magic ring as if we're putting a tassel in, simply pull your tail to the other side and just hold it up. Once you've put your first double crochet in, it will just stay in place. Maybe just wrap it around or find some way in which to hold that steady. Then we want to place 3 double crochets into our magic ring. And now we're going to work along the neck edge of the shawl, which is the edge without any cross stitches on it. If you refer to the diagram in the pattern, that'll make sense. So all we're going to do all the way up this row is work 2 double crochets into each end treble. Because the first 2 rows both had treble stitches, work 2 double crochets in the end of those first 2 rows. And for the double crochet end rows, just work 1 double crochet in that end. So it's 2 into the treble end and 1 into the double crochet end, and so on all the way back up the row. Now it's important to do this particular step so that you don't make it too tight. Even though this is the neck edge, if you find that it's becoming too tight here and it's starting to curl a bit, or it's becoming very rigid, you want to maintain some little bit of stretch here. So I'm working these stitches back up this line quite loosely, but not so loose that they're all floppy, but not with a hard tension. But if you find that you are becoming quite tight here, then just add in a couple of extra stitches as you go. So add in maybe 3 stitches at the end here instead of 2, and just keep an eye on it as you go up. But it should work out okay. So yes, to remind you, it's just 1 double crochet in the end of double crochet rows and then 2 double crochets in the end of the treble rows. And then I'll meet you at the top.